My initial plan was I can do this in 48 hours. Did I succeed, Kevin?
No, not this time. That's why we're gonna break this up into 2 episodes. 2. You're gonna show people the ugly underbelly.
It's the ugly underbelly. It was the grossest space that I've ever walked into.
Well, we've accomplished our demo. You have an entire wall done, and it looks gorgeous. It's not grouted yet.
Done.
Oh, get up! We're on TV.
What?
Oh my goodness.
No, I'm too tired. I'm too tired today to do this anymore.
No.
I'm too exhausted.
What are you, exhausted?
I'm exhausted. We've been home from Monticello 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Just long enough for you to take a shower and shave the thing that was growing out of your face.
and a quick nap, and then now we're on TV.
But
Hi.
we finally finished the bathroom.
The bathroom.
Jazz hands.
Our $500, 18,000 hour makeup.
You know what I decided?
What?
This bathroom bought us every step of the way. Literally every inch of the way. I decided, you know what it was like? You know how when you used to take grandma to the Merle Norman to get her a makeover because she'd been wearing that same ice blue eyeshadow since 1974, and she fights you the whole way there, and then she fusses the entire time she's getting the makeover, and then when she sees herself in the mirror for the first time, she's so pleased that she buys all the product and tells everybody how excited she was and how it was her idea.
My granddaughter took me to the...
This is that, we had that.
Yes.
This whole project with Miss Janie's bathroom.
Miss Janie was smiling by the end of it, but...
She better be.
She was unhappy. She was fighting us all.
Me? She fought me.
All
She threw tile at me. Well, we'll just tell you the whole story.
Let
us regale you with the story. Here we are, back in little Janie's very little bathroom from last week. You'll remember that we had a little bit of a oopsie with our paint matching. We wanted the paint to match these historic tiles. So we took it to the paint store to have the color matched, and when it dried a much darker color, a totally different hue. And that's a problem. It's only a problem like right here where the paint touches the tiles, and there's a couple places in the room where it does that. That's where you can really tell there's a huge difference in the hue of green and blue. It's not gray. It may read gray on the video. It's not gray, but it's very blue. But we'd already painted all the trim, all the doors, the muttons, the rails, the stiles, as you can see. But what we figured out was the color is close enough that if there's any separation between the original tile and the paint, they look like they're the same shade. It's only where they bump up against one another that it's really a problem. So we've decided that we are going to paint the trim white and leave the rails, the stiles, the muttons, and the doors blue, and the ceiling. So that is hopefully how we're gonna solve this little oopsie. It's important to remember that in most projects, something is not gonna go like you planned for it to go. And to pretend like everything always goes perfectly would be a complete fallacy. It would be so inaccurate for us to show you projects flowing perfectly every single time. Sometimes they do. Those are the times that we get really lucky. Most of the time, there are little problems we have to fix along the way, and that's completely normal and completely fine, and it's fine for you to have to do that too. So, we're gonna start by fixing our oopsie from last time, and then we're gonna get going on getting the rest of this bathroom remade, made over, looking darling. Watch us work. I started with repainting the trim. So we started the trim, the blue color wasn't a good match, and so we decided to go with white. So we painted all the trim a nice one coat of white to get it started. So there's coat 1 of 3 places I have to redo the tile paint, and it's probably gonna take 3 coats. So a lot of time that I shouldn't have to be spending doing something I shouldn't have to be doing because the paint place messed up the color. But this is how DIY rolls. Then we started the rest of the tile. So we did that first day, we got the trim painted and all of the window wall tile done. And then we started the shower wall. So lots of people ask us how we're cutting the tile. And I think cutting the tile is one of the scariest things to people. First of all, if you're using a really expensive tile, it can be scary because even when you're doing it properly, you can still break your tiles. So that's why we like really cheap tile, right? Little lots never hurt anybody.
Yeah, it cost you $1. What? How much it would cost you? Less than that,
are,
right?
I think like 32 cents a piece.
Right.
I can drop 32 cents on the ground and not go looking for it. You get over $1, I'm going to be searching. Sorry. That's just how I am. But this is our snap cutter. Lots of people use wet saws. I don't like wet saws because I don't like power saws. Kevin will tell you the one thing I refuse to do in home improvement is anything with power saw. I will do everything else. Nail guns, sanders, anything else. I don't like power saws.
And I want every tool to be a power tool.
And Kevin has a collection of saws. But this is a snap cutter. Very easy, very simple principle. There's a diamond wheel, you abrade the surface, you snap the cut.
Where do you get a snap cutter and how much do they cost?
They're very expensive, Kevin. This one was $27.
Oh, look how fancy.
Ooh. Ah. But what you do is you get your measurement that you need for your tile, which I've already done. I didn't set it properly. I didn't get it tightened down. You tighten down so that you have your measurement so that you know your cut is correct. You line up your tile. Hear that sound?
I hear it.
And then it's called the snap tool because snap. Now I have my hand.
Whoa.
Ooh.
That is crazy, man.
Insane. That's how you use the snap cutter and that's how you cut your tile if you're too scared to use a wet saw, which I am. I also find them really messy, so I like to avoid as much mess as possible. But see, look, this is how we work. You see, I'm sitting in my living room
I was about to say.
On the floor, cutting my tile.
You probably wouldn't have a wet saw in the living room.
I wouldn't have, I mean, I might have a wet saw in the living room, knowing me, but this is how people who do DIY work, and you shouldn't feel intimidated to do it. You shouldn't feel like you have to have a work shed to go out and work in. Sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do where you gotta do it. So here I am.
I kind of felt like we were ahead of the game for some reason.
Did you? I did not.
I don't know why.
I could foresee that this was gonna be a monster. And the shower walls were very difficult because we did the diamond pattern tile and we wanted to wrap that diamond pattern. We didn't want to be just like hodgepodge.
Whose crazy idea was it to do that diamond pile?
Diamond
pattern
we
tile.
should have taken a nap before
Pile
we did
is
this.
pattern tile.
Okay, all right.
I'm just shortening it.
All right, I like that.
What do we call this move?
This is called tiling safely.
Okay.
Absolutely
OSHA approved.
OSHA approved. The technique that is done by the pros when tiling a wall over a bathtub.
Got it.
Yep. Got up the next day, finished wrapping the tile, got all the way around the other wall.
I think there were 20 walls in that bathroom.
There were 20 walls. We got all the wall tile done. Why don't you give them the Vanna White?
Kevin, let's show them what they've won.
What have they won today?
They won this USG Durock. This half-inch Durock goes down on your floor before you put your tile down. You're gonna love this Durock. I took my handy-dandy, where'd it go?
Oh no.
My handy-dandy oscillating saw, which, if you know me, you know.
If you know, you know.
I love this saw. And made my cuts. So I just cut around the trim here, and I cut around on a little gas line that we're gonna keep access to. You can use a box cutter and score Durock and break it off, similar to drywall if you want. You don't want to use a power tool like some people. So just cut it down, fit all your spots, put a screw every 8 inches.
All right. We had to take a bath. Because once you put floor tile down, you can't walk on it.
And that is the only bathroom.
And it's the only bathroom, so I had to have him take a bath, then I had to take a bath.
We should have just gone out in the yard and hosed each other
We
off.
should have.
That would have been better.
Then I started laying the mosaic floor tile.
Easy.
Easy breezy.
Yeah.
Here's the problem. We did not lift the toilet. The reason, I know a lot of people are going to be screaming, you
Yes.
should have lifted the toilet.
No, we had a reason that we didn't do that.
And there was a lot of conversation back and forth. In an ideal world, we would have lifted the toilet.
It's actually bolted to the wall also.
Well, that comes into the story. That
Okay.
plays into the story.
Okay.
Don't talk over me.
Oh.
Everybody's always saying that I talk over him, but he talks over me just as much. Just nobody calls him out because he's the man.
You just talk more than me.
This is true. And I remember things.
Yes, you have more things to say.
The toilet is original from 1937, and it is a really cool toilet. It has an amazing Art Deco shape. If you look at the toilet, it really is a cool piece of artwork. It is very valuable. If we went to buy that toilet at a salvage place, it would be $700 or $800. But here are the two problems. There are no replacement parts for that toilet. So if we busted the tank, if we screwed up the hose, we can't get new parts, so the toilet becomes junk. Then, as Kevin interjected, the tank is bolted to the wall. The bolts are completely corroded. So trying to unbolt the tank, I know would have resulted in a cracked tank and a lost toilet. So we made the unpopular decision to leave the toilet in place and just tile around it.
You know, it's been there for what, 90 years?
90 years, and we gave it a really good grout ring around the top. So
it's gonna just stay where it is and keep going.
It's got some good flushes left in it. But so it became very difficult to do the tile because I had to go around the toilet and I had to account for the pattern in the negative space that would be the toilet. So then I had to work behind the toilet.
Is it a small space, Lane?
This is a very small space. I'm doing tile in a very small, confined area, Kevin.
You think this is the first video of home renovation where the person's sitting on the toilet?
No. I feel like this is a pretty regular occurrence.
And then all of the mosaic pattern that you see on the floor, I bought that tile as just white sheets of white hex tile. I created the pattern, then I had to pop out all the places that we didn't want those white tiles, and I had to put in the blue tiles that we wanted in those spaces. So all those little tiles had to be hand set in there. So it took me from about, I don't think I got started on it till like 9 or 9:30.
We wanted to get all of the tile down that day so that we could grout all day the next day.
Yes. And so therefore,
You stayed up till 2:45 working on that tile. I can't believe you did
surely
it.
did.
You are crazy.
Cuckoo, cuckoo.
Oh, there he is. What you doing, Mr. Barry?
This is a job for me. I do the tall part.
Yes.
I'm best at the up.
What are you doing?
Grouting.
Are you floating the grout? To show the people how you do the grout?
And you put it in the lines, and then you scrape it off, and then you put it in, and you scrape it off, and then you wipe it down with the sponge. And so.
Are you a frustrated Italian, my love?
I guess so.
Prego!
So then we wake up the next day and we start grouting immediately. Did
Yes.
we even eat this weekend?
I don't remember meals.
All right, curtains up.
Don't look at my grout booty.
I know, you got a little grout on the leg there.
Don't look at it.
Okay, we're looking at the curtain.
Yes.
So pretty.
Thank you.
Tell us.
This was a vintage tablecloth that today, when I had, nothing else going on, except for laying tile and grouting tile, I made this curtain because it matches our colors. Isn't it lovely?
Perfectly. Look at that. It's beautiful.
Thank you. So this morning, we got up and we're busy being around. Be a busy bee. Exactly like that.
All right, here we go.
All right. I told you I did it correctly. Look at that, like butter.
Did I say you did?
You did. You were very concerned that I was tiling too closely.
Cleaning up the last few things.
Look, I'm like one of those television decorator women that waits for everyone else to do the really hard work and then comes in and goes, oh, it was so hard.
Wiping down the last few little grout spots.
Touch-ups.
Tiny touch-ups.
Basically done, and then insert video here. So how's it going? We almost done? Huh. So it's abstract.
That's what happens when you're touching up the paint on the ceiling and you fall off the bathtub with the paint can.
So what happened was Kevin was cleaning up the grout and he scraped a little bit of the blue paint off the ceiling. It happens. There's no blame. I'm casting no aspersions.
There's gonna need to be touch-ups.
I thought you were gonna say there need to be aspersions. So I went to touch up the blue paint. Now, again, you can't put a ladder in this space. We've been doing all of this work over the bathtub by climbing onto the bathtub. You can't put a ladder in the bathtub. You can't put a ladder over the bathtub. So I am precariously balanced on the bathtub with my full bucket of blue paint, my paintbrush. I do my little touch-ups. I go to dismount to do my dismount. Just call me Simone Biles. And the bathroom floor at this point should have been empty, but it wasn't.
I feel aspersions.
There are aspersions being cast.
Oh my goodness.
Because there was a large, clear plastic pitcher on the floor upon which I placed my foot. And mighty was the fall thereof. I ended up on the floor, on my back, 1 foot on the toilet, 1 foot over the bathtub, and the can of blue paint, well...
Blue paint, white tile, white grout?
Exploded.
Is not so good.
It exploded.
All right, so what's happening now? I thought we were almost done.
Now I'm paying penance for my accident. I'm being made to sit on the floor and clean
Scrape green
out of the grout.
out of the grout.
As penance for sloshing green paint all over the brand new white bathroom. And I'm being made to do it before I can
Let me
even
see the left side of your
clean
face.
myself up.
Yeah.
My husband, who loves me,
prioritized the
said,
bathroom over the wife.
clean the bathroom, then we'll clean you up. So you see,
This is the only bathroom, though.
for you,
You would have just gotten dirtier in that
For-
bath because it's got paint all
our
over it.
viewers who want to talk about how much you love me and how sweet we are together. When it came down to it, the bathroom came
The
first.
bathroom came first. Hey, we've been slaving over it for 4 whole days.
Yep. So, quit filming me. Let me get back to
I've
my
only
penance.
known you for 26 years. We've been working hard in this bathroom for 4 days.
Oh.
Say goodbye.
Goodbye.
So then how many more hours of work did we have?
Man, that took us like 2-3 hours
2 or 3 hours to fix the problem.
to clean all the paint, to re-grout, to scrape, to oh my gosh.
But what did we do? We
was
just
not good.
we
We
just
just did
laughed.
it.
We just
It
laughed
was
about
funny.
it and did it because you can either get mad and be really cranky and ugly about it, or you can just laugh.
It happens.
It happens.
And it happened.
And I luckily wasn't bleeding from anywhere, which was a plus.
That is a plus. Yes, she came out to see me. I could tell she was just fine. And I said, "What have you done,
And he said,
young lady?"
he said, well, let's go get the bathroom cleaned up. I was covered from head to toe in paint. Let's talk about what this project actually cost us, because we had a very strict timeline and a very strict budget. One of those things we hit, one of those things we missed.
At least the timeline was free.
Yes, timeline was free-ish. Time is, finite, and you only live once, but I guess giving this many days to this project was a good idea. Spent about $85 on the wall tile. The floor tile was definitely the most expensive part of the project. The hex
Smaller area.
smaller area. We had the white tiles were $7.50 a piece. The blue tiles were $10 a piece, but I only had to use 2 of those.
Right, you just needed a few of those.
Because I just took them off the mesh.
So what was it total? $70 or something?
Let's say $8 a foot at 24 feet. What is that?
8 times 24?
Like
100 and...
no. Is it 100 and something? Michael could do fancy math for us in the edit. A bucket of mastic, which I think was about $50. I had the receipt, but I have since lost the receipt.
2 boxes of
2
grout.
boxes of grout. Those were $13 a piece.
And I don't remember.
Just agree with me.
I agree with you. That's just your general rule.
We
Just agree
bought
with me.
the $23 gallon of paints. I'm not counting the gallon of blue paint because it was a mistake and it was nothing but pain and suffering.
Right.
So I'm actually I should deduct the price of the blue paint out for the hours of pain and suffering that it cost us. $23 on the gallon of paint, $18 on the curtain, on the tablecloth that I bought for the curtain.
Oh, that was pretty.
$20 on the little table that you see that I spray painted. I wanted the table to go next to the sink just because there's no counter space in there, but we didn't want to put a vanity in. We wanted to keep our original fixtures. So we found the ugliest tables you've ever seen in your life at an antique store for $45 for two, and we asked them if they would take $20 for one.
Were they green with a blue drawer?
But it was wicker, which is great in a bathroom space because wicker is actually, that water's actually good for wicker. You don't want to put wood in a bathroom space. And it had like a little drawer and a good top on it. So that was $20.
Magazine rack on the side?
Yeah. All together we really did hit right at $500 for a complete vintage, period appropriate bathroom makeover. I think one of the fallacies that we hear in home restoration, preservation, rehabilitation all the time is that to make it look vintage and period appropriate, you have to spend a fortune. You can, right? But you don't have to. Taste and style do not equate to expensive. There are inexpensive, real people, real budget ways to make your space look timeless and classic, vintage appropriate, without absolutely breaking the bank. And one of the most valuable things you can put into your space is sweat equity. And to Kevin.
Yeah, we put some sweat equity into this one, but I gotta say, tiling of all of the home improvement things is really not that hard. Tiling is definitely something you should take on. If you haven't tiled something, just jump in and do it. It's not difficult and you can save a lot of money.
A lot of money. Not to disparage professional tile people out there, not to discourage you from using pros. If you want to use pros, go to it. But it's not as difficult as they make it look. It's not as difficult as they make it sound. Oh, one thing I did want to say, somebody asked us about a vapor barrier or a water barrier in the bathtub. You know, how are you going to keep water from getting up there? There's no shower. So unless we get crazy in the tub, there shouldn't be water flinging up onto those walls at any point.
Yeah, the tile that's there has been there for
90 years.
Everything has been there for 90 years or 80 years or whatever that math is.
Fine.
We're too tired to math.
Since 1937.
That's it, our beautiful vintage bathroom makeover for $500. And it came out beautiful.
Beautifully.
Great job,
we took a disgusting bathroom and turned it into, I think, a little showplace, don't you?
I do. I'm very proud.
Bye.
Bye.